Welcome, everybody, to this evening's Triple B Experience podcast show where I have some special guests tonight on take three because it took me 3 times to do this. That's right. It's never, ever happened before in the Triple Experience podcasting life in my podcasting realm. But tonight, it's going to be rad. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce my guests. In my opinion, they remind me of the Rock and Roll Express mixed in with the Midnight Rockers. They are one of the best tag teams on the East Coast today. They win championships everywhere they go. They are great professionally and in the ring, and it's my honor to introduce Braden Elliott and Jake Wiley, the Rad Boys. And they're probably drinking energy drinks like it's going out of style, but here they are, people. Hi, guys. How you guys doing? See, there it is.
That's right, baby.
Woo!
We broke the mold.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. You guys broke me. You broke me the third time. Third time's a charm. How are you guys doing this evening? And thank you for coming on to the Triple B Experience.
We are fantastic.
I'm going to try to stay planted in this seat.
Well, you can get up and walk around if you want to. Whatever you guys want to do, because I've seen you in the ring, and realistically, you really don't stay still very long.
No,
No.
never.
Always move.
Well,
Stick and move.
Is it because of the energy drinks, or is that because you have that much energy in your life that you guys are just full of energy at all times?
A little bit of both. That and we eat a lot of candy.
You're telling me by the time this interview is over, all that candy is going to be gone.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Energy drinks and candy and drop kicks and elbows to the head. Now let me ask you guys, what was your first experience that got you guys both interested in professional wrestling?
All right. I'll go first.
Okay.
So I was a late bloomer. My family growing up didn't really watch a whole lot of wrestling. Therefore, I didn't watch a whole lot of wrestling. I did, however, have one of the old wrestling buddies, the big ones. I had a Sting, and I didn't know who he was. I just thought he looked cool. And then you squeeze them, and then they make the noise. And, of course, being a kid, I just wanted to beat it up all the time. My story is actually kind of funny. It wasn't until 2005 I went to my cousin's house, and he had a Nintendo GameCube. And for all the haters,
wow,
you're wrong. And it was the Day of Reckoning video game. And he put it in, and I was watching him play, and I was like, what is this stuff? But there was one person that stuck out, and it was good old Rey Mysterio. I mean, he had the luchador, full-colored contacts, all the tattoos, the baggy pants. I was like, this guy's awesome. And then from then on, him and I just started watching it, and I never got to watch Rey, though, until 3 years later because they were on that CW channel. And where we are, we have access to that. Okay. So I stuck watching Raw, but it was good, too. Evolution era, Eugene, all those guys. Yeah, Eugene.
Wow, Nick Dunsmore, you're pulling names out of the hat.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so Braden, what about you?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember sitting down watching wrestling with my dad, and I want to say I was probably 3 years old. I wasn't in diapers.
You were probably still in diapers.
You have a good memory if you remember 3 years old. That's why you guys are high flyers, because you always think on your feet. That's good. 3 years old.
Yeah, I can't remember what I have for breakfast now. But I don't remember what it was what was happening, but I just remember seeing the Undertaker come out, and he made his entrance and everything. And from that, I was a kid. You look at it, and I was like, what is this? And from that point on, I was just hooked.
Okay, so actually, the wrestlers that influenced you, Jake was Rey Mysterio, and Braden was the Undertaker. Then.
Yep.
Okay. So what moment did you realize that you wanted to decide to get in this crazy world of professional wrestling?
Well, in 8th grade, I got into a clique of friends, and we always used to go over to the one buddy's house, and like he had the PlayStation, and I was the cool kid that had the multi-tap you could plug in, and then like 6 people could play. And then we played the old, I want to say it was Here Comes the Pain, maybe. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but we were all just infatuated with it, and that's
Okay.
what we all night. We just stayed up and ate Cheez-Its and drank Pepsi and Coke, and we just played wrestling all night. And then
So it was more the wrestling games than actually the wrestling action on TV that made you click in your head.
because I still wasn't fully watching all the time because I wasn't necessarily allowed to stay up and watch until I figured out that the old VCRs you could hit record and then let it set it, and then it would record everything on
Yeah.
a VCR tape, kids. And
I just pressed the remote.
yeah, and then all my buddies and I we were just like, hey, why don't we try doing this one? So we started the backyard feds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa. You guys have titles and stuff?
Yep. We actually went all out, and I remember talking to my pap and my aunt, and they actually helped us build a ring out of we had tires and wood and mattresses and all that stuff at first, and then we figured out how it was actually built, and then a little bit later, I went and trained with Cato the first time whenever he was in Bald Eagle. And
okay.
I wasn't there very long because I didn't have a license yet, and it was a 45-minute drive, and my parents didn't want to make that drive every week, like twice a week or 3 times a week. I can't remember exactly. But Jimmy the Hippie was in that class. And let's see. Evan Manning was in that class.
I've heard of him. I remember his name, yeah.
Brian, I want to say Brian the Vampire.
Oh, Lestat.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was in that class, and then there was like my buddy and I, and then this one other guy. I don't remember his name, but yeah, that's where I kind of got my feet wet into it all. And by that time, I was watching it pretty heavily.
Okay.
And then, yeah, it wasn't until a couple years ago whenever I ran into G Raver, and he's the one that told me about the school here and told me I should come check it out and everything, and I came and got bit by the bug.
Did you have the fire still from the first time going into the second time when G Raver told you, hey, come up to the school? Was it still fire inside of you?
Whenever I ran into G Raver, I wasn't doing anything with wrestling related. I was still watching it and keeping up to date. Not as heavily as what I once was, because like we stopped backyarding like 3 years prior to that. And I just kind of was like, okay, well, maybe it was a little bit of a phase, and it was fun, and it helped all of us get through high school. And now like we're all just sitting here like watching it and still talking about it from time to time. But then whenever all my buddies were like, if anyone is going to get trained and learn how to do this right, it's going to be you. And I took G Raver's advice, and I came here. And
how old were you when you went back the second time to give it another go?
Bubba, that's a hard question.
I'm sorry.
Discussions.
December.
I feel you. I've had a couple too.
December of what?
2018.
2018. I was probably like 20.
Okay, I mean you were in the mid 20s. Okay. Yeah, I started when I was 26.
Okay.
So yeah, that's about okay. So Braden, what was your take?
Because like I said, I didn't remember what the moment was that got me hooked. I just remembered the Undertaker, but like this is even like a harder question because I don't remember what the moment was. I just for as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a professional wrestler. I don't ever remember wanting to do something else. So I don't.
So your whole life, you had that epiphany that you wanted to be a pro wrestler. You saw something on, you saw Taker, and then when it was Taker, that was all she wrote, and that's the course of destiny that you've. Okay,
I
there's
don't.
nothing
I
wrong
don't.
with that.
Moment of where I said I want to be a professional wrestler. I know there was like one point when I was younger where I said I wanted to be a professional wrestler. My dad looked at me and was like, if you want to be a wrestler, like we can send you to wrestling school. And like I was like, okay, like yeah.
Well,
Like
that's so you had your family support you, which is huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, my dad hates wrestling. But yeah, I mean it was what it is. But so you guys talked about going now. How old was you when you started? Because Jake's a little older than you, correct?
I started training when I was 15.
Oh my God, you're a prodigy. Wow. So did you have to keep it quiet? Did you keep it under the radar when you were 15? You didn't go to school. It's like, hey, hey, I'm gonna be a. Some people
No,
do.
I told everybody.
Okay, I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
He's like, look at me, I'm 15.
Yeah, yep. High school gym class, you're stone cold and stunning somebody and dropping an elbow in gym class. That's awesome. Yeah. So So you guys spoke about your trainer, Cato. So Mr. Ken Downs is the man who trained you guys to where you are today. And I'm sure it was rough and tough. I mean, most training is, and I'm sure he, I mean, we all know how he is. He doesn't cut any corners, and he wants to train people to be their best because he has issues if people aren't properly trained. We all know that. I'm not putting anything out there. That's just how he is, and
I just want to put this out there. Apparently, Jake started.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, look what you did.
Oh yeah. You didn't tell him that, or is this newsworthy? Does he know that you had a backyard fed?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And he hated that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, but he was happy. I came and I got trained properly, and I put in the work. So key people get trained.
Yes, yeah, that's unanimous for everybody. Me and Ken probably butt heads on a lot of stuff, but we do agree on getting properly trained because I know when I ran some stuff, I had people in the ring where they shouldn't have been in, and I look back on it, hindsight 2020, I effed up, and I should never have done that. So anybody else besides Ken, while you're coming up through the ranks of the Imagine Dojo, like say, hey guys, like take you under your wing and stuff like that, and try to.
Oh, we've had a good bit. So
let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
So I remember when we first started training, and we'd come here on Sunday mornings, and there was like 3 or 4 of us, like actual trainees, but there would be like 10 different people here, where it would be Cato and Jimmy the Hippie, Lucio DeVere, Bill Collier. I mean, I forget who else. I think Shane Valentine was here one time.
I wasn't
McGrath
here yet.
was here.
I wasn't here yet whenever all these guys were here.
I think you came in like right at the tail end.
I came in right at the tail end because the one that I solely remember a lot being here whenever I first started was Justin Sane.
Oh, Justin Sane was here too, yeah.
Yeah, Justin Sane was here a lot whenever I first started.
I think I've heard of him.
Been here.
He was
the third guy in Wild West.
Yeah, he was the third guy in Wild West. He was Dave Daniels.
Oh yeah. Yes, you're right. Yeah, I know he is. Yes. All buff. Yeah, buffing the stuff. Yeah. Dave and DC. That was a good tag team. That was They were good.
DC Bentley, super crucial to us, starting off as the Rad Boyz for sure.
He's one of the reasons that we are actually the Rad Boyz.
Exactly.
I think if it wasn't for him, telling Cato, like, I think these guys got a good idea, and always sticking up for us. I don't think
Yeah.
Cato would have ever gone for the idea of us being a tag
Much
team.
love for DC Bentley, because the Rad Boyz. First off, the Rad Boyz wouldn't be called Rad Boyz if it wasn't for DC Bentley.
Yeah,
How did that come where he gave you guys that name? Did he give you guys that name?
he did.
Yeah, so we pitched a name which shall not be named, and
Nameless. Okay.
but it got down pretty quick.
Okay.
Almost 3 seconds after we said it, and
Okay. Cato said no effing way.
Yeah,
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So Cato asked us, think of all you guys' favorite tag teams. What do they all have in common with their names? So like we started spouting out names like Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, rock and roll and stuff like that. But the key element was the boys, and we were like, we're boys. And then DC just spouted out, what about Rad Boyz? And at first we were like, we don't really like that. But he's like, just keep saying it over and over. And Cato was like, now Rad Boyz is something I could see on the marquee. The other name you guys pitched, not so much.
Okay.
So we sat here for literally the whole because it was a Wednesday night show on the lives. And we just sat here and we just kept saying Rad Boyz over and over and over and over. And then we were like, you know what? We like it. Like, it has a good ring to it. We think it fits us really well.
I thought it was marketable.
Yeah, definitely marketable.
Easy to put on a T-shirt.
And no one else was calling themselves that. And our biggest thing, though, was how we're going to stick out is the boys is going to obviously have a Z.
Right.
But it's going to be a capital Z, not a lowercase, capital. And that's what we did. And it kind of just rolled on from there.
Well, you guys you guys were in singles competition before you guys got to be a tag team. Didn't you guys like wrestle each other? I believe, if I remember correctly, you guys maybe feuded a little bit and then came together.
Yep.
Okay.
We wrestled a couple matches against one another. We were in the first ever table match. That was I want to say that was during the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a chipped tooth thanks to this guy. Permanent, right in my front tooth.
Okay.
But I instantly got a concussion after that too.
Oh my! Yeah, I feel you. I understand.
And so he had to pick me up and put me back through it. And I tried fighting, but he got me anyway. But yeah.
But your gimmick, Jake, when you was single, it was a gaming type gimmick because you loved the gaming part, and then Braden was like the professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So.
Go ahead.
No, and was you part of a faction at the time also too, if I remember correctly? And everybody was trying to take Braden out, and then that's when you had a change of heart.
Yep.
Okay.
We broke, and we were bullying him a lot, and then one day he came to me and expressed his love for me and everything, and
is that how it worked?
No.
Then I saw the change in heart. Nah, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, no. I was part of the neighborhood, and we had some pretty good matches with each other, and then we just thought that there was more money on the table of us teaming together rather than going against one another.
And there was.
And definitely there was, obviously.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, let's get back. I'm gonna rewind just a little bit. Let's go back to each one of your first match ever. Who was it with, and how did you feel going through that curtain? Because once it's that first match, then did you feel like, oh, this is it? This is what I want to do after you go through the curtain and feel the electricity and the fans. I mean, it's a different kind of high.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So explain, each of you guys explain. You're like, who was your first match? And how did you feel going through that curtain for the first time in a real match? Not training, putting your asses on the line at the dojo. First time going through when it's showtime.
first.
You want me to go first?
Whoever. Yeah.
Mine was, I don't remember the exact volume it was of Imagine Wrestling, but we had a dojo tournament whenever all of us guys from the dojo were coming on to the main show.
Okay.
And, we had a cup, and it was like a mini little tournament to see who was the best guy. And my first match was against Malachi Gage.
Oh, okay.
And I remember the whole day very fondly, actually. I thought I was going to puke.
You were that nervous? You were that nervous?
I was that nervous. Like, and I don't know why, because I'm very much like a people person.
Okay.
I like to be in front of people. What are you giving me the frog meme face for? But
Pay the frog.
yeah. And but I was like, my biggest worry was like, nobody, like, we put out a couple promo packages leading up to it and everything, but I was like, nobody knows who I am. So like, whenever I come out and I hear nothing, what do you do? And
good point.
luckily, whenever I came out, I was a baby face at first.
Okay.
And, the crowd got behind me. There were some cheers out there, and I think a lot of people, though, the feelers were out, like, who are these guys? Let's see what they got. And I think that we did really, really well, and I actually advanced in that match to the finals, where I faced good neighbor John Ross. And then he cheated, of course. And
that guy's been a thorn in everybody's side, really, right? Your whole career.
He's crazy.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you guys, I mean, there's numerous, I was at that last show. I mean, you guys have been dealing with him for many, many years. So there's a lot of competitive spirit that you guys coming from that dojo. So, that could probably turn into personality conflicts, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was your first match. Now, Braden, what was your first match? Was it the same thing? Was it the same thing?
No, I actually reffed their dojo tournament because I wasn't 18 yet. So the whole
you have that experience now. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I had to ref the whole thing, and like the whole thing was that I couldn't wrestle yet, and I led into a match with me and Malachi Gage because he I think he like told me what I wasn't good enough or something. That's why I wasn't in the tournament. But like we started from that tournament. We built to the match where I wrestled Malachi Gage as well. My first match. 4 months after that, it was January 11th of 2020. And I remember walking into that because I had saw the other 5 guys that came from the school debuted before me. So I thought, like, I went into it with a chip on my shoulder, thinking like, oh, these guys got to do this, first,
okay.
But I got to prove like I got to hang with them. But it was also in my hometown, so I didn't have the feeling of, like Jake said, like, are they going to know who I am? Because I knew.
Your hometown is what Altoona?
Yes.
Okay.
So I knew that there was probably 100 people in the crowd who knew me.
Okay.
Friends and family were there, but so I was nervous in a way where I was like, oh my God, I don't want to screw this up in front of everybody that I know. And on top of that, I went through 3 years of high school telling everybody like, oh, I'm a professional wrestler. I'm going to be something. So like there was people there to see it. So I was like, oh, screw this up. So I remember walking out, like getting ready to walk out the curtain, and Kato was there, and like right before my music hit, he was right behind the curtain, and he smacked me in the chest, and he was like, "You got this! Now you go out there, you show him, And I was like about ready to puke at that point.
Okay,
but I went
about right.
I think we had like a 15-minute match, and
wow, your first match was 15 minutes.
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
But
Okay.
I couldn't have been happier with it because I remember afterwards. Now, like hometown thing, and everybody I knew there, like standing ovation afterwards.
Uh-huh. The weight of the world was off your shoulders after that
Yeah,
first match.
yeah,
Okay.
it was. I want to say one of the best moments of my life. Just going out there,
And then after that match, you definitely knew, being a young kid, that was your dream. You knew after you exhaled all the breath from that first match, you knew this is what you wanted to do. There was no questions, no denying it. You were like, it's time to take the golden ring and run with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question, though. It's coming from Altoona, and you told all these people in school that you're a big time training to become a pro wrestler. Did anybody try you? Because some people do, and in my life, some people have, and sometimes you have to shut people up because people will dog, you know what I mean, say some stuff. They don't understand this business. They think they can do it, and they just can't get in from the real world into a wrestling ring and do it. It doesn't work that way. Did you have any type of people in high school trying to say stuff to you in a negative light?
No, well, I mean, once I got to high school, I was a pretty accomplished amateur wrestler at that point. And by that point, I had started lifting weights, so I wasn't, I wasn't a pushover. I would say.
Good for you.
Really, ever, they never said anything about it. I don't remember too much.
Yeah, some people are different, and some people are funny, and the pro wrestling, I mean, people that were pro wrestlers, people have a smart ass comment to say about stuff that you guys do and we do, and you know what I mean. I did back in the day, and you had to give them a receipt and a little bit more, and that's okay. Not everybody could do that; it's very hard. But also too. So you guys out of the singles, and you had DC Bentley, give you guys the name. So you're all about tag team now. So the first match that you guys were into as the Rad Boyz, did you cut your promos and then you started to you just work somebody, or was it based on a feud that you guys were in, that you guys came together and started the Rad Boyz revolution?
It was based off of a feud, but he had just gotten out of the faction, and I remember we went into a tag team match where he was ending his feud with the neighborhood, and I think I was ending my feud with the neighborhood, and it was just like a big blow off.
I believe it was
John Ross.
Yeah, it was John Ross
and Rick Matthews.
Yeah. And it was the first show back after the pandemic.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because we were outside behind where the Civic Center is now, out in the volleyball court. We set everything up out
the
there.
outside. Okay, yeah, I've been there. Yeah, because due to COVID, it had to go out. Yes, okay.
I remember it fondly too because we came out to the original Rad Boyz theme song, which was All Star by Smash Mouth. And we didn't have any matching gear yet or anything like that. I don't even think we really hit a double team or anything besides the double dare. That's where we debuted our double team finish.
Okay, that's your finish. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember it being really cool. First time I ever did dive out of the ring. That was cool. And now I hit one all the time. And then, I remember the crowd response was pretty welcoming. That's for sure. And that was another thing I was worried about because, I mean, the only thing that they had to do was they were just watching what we were doing on Wednesdays. So I was like worried about how many people are watching this right now, and then whenever they see us come out together, then be like, why are these two together? Like,
right.
They hate each other? But luckily, we didn't get any of that. I did get a couple messages though. Funny enough, whenever we first started teaming, like, "Hey, whatever you do, don't you dare turn on Braden Elliott," and all this stuff.
What, you got death threats? Holy shit!
Yeah. So that
wow,
was good.
Braden. The Altoona boy, man, the whole town, they'll be pitchforking you. Jake. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I want to say this
Wow.
too, quick. We were talking about people that helped influence us and stuff. And whenever we first started teaming, the first two people that I remember messaging, asking a ton of questions to, was Duke Davis and Gannon Jones Jr. TME. I love both those guys, and if they're watching, we both love you guys. Duke, love you, man. But they
Some
are
great matches with those guys too. I've seen that. Great. I've seen it. I've seen it on video. Great matches.
We had a booking that day. I wish we could have been there for that. I really wanted to go.
I know.
I messaged him afterwards and we talked a little bit, so that's cool. But without TME, there would be no Rad Boyz either, because
okay.
Out a lot. And I mean, they're still helping us out to this day. If I have any questions, or him and I both have questions, Gannon's one of the first guys I message. I'm like, hey, brother, what do you think about this? And Bill Collier. Bill Collier's big.
Oh, man. We could do podcast over podcast about him. I mean, real quick, the first time I ever saw him, he up over the hill here in the APWF ring, which I think you guys have as a training ring. He did the Undertaker thing the whole way around. And I called Princess Jade, who was Lisa Wansmunsky at the time, and I was like, Lisa, you're not going to believe this fucking guy. And I excuse my French. He's fucking phenomenal. I said, oh my God, I was starstruck. And Bill's been many places, and I respect Bill. And I respect him for giving me and my company props in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine, and said the call letters. And I'll never forget that. I went to Sheets and grabbed it, and he had an interview, and he actually said that. Like, he started there. He didn't, stuff happened, and he had to go other places. But Collier, I mean, he's big time. He's the best unsigned talent that he needs to be signed. And I've been saying that for years. But that's great. You got those guys giving you guys all this advice.
All three very passionate for what they do too, which is great to have around. Like,
oh yeah,
really helps us. Like, I put this out in a post that that we shared for Duke. If it wasn't for those three guys, like, they helped us not only in the ring, but they also helped us out a lot outside of the ring too, of how to handle ourselves, like, be respectful, and make sure you shake hands. And Cato too. Cato right. Always.
You guys are very respectful. You guys are most respectful guys. I mean, I mean, my God, every time I see you guys, you come up and say hi to me, and that I truly appreciate that, and that's very respectful, and that's why I wanted you guys on this show to interview, and just I feel that you haven't even reached where you need to be. But also too, so that means the main event was some of your biggest rivals when you guys what was the biggest rivals that you have gone against recently and before being the Rad Boyz?
So I want to throw main event there. The main event, though, we've only wrestled 3 times.
But it's a respect thing. The matches were respect. Yeah. Okay.
They were our first match at IWC. And
not many people get to IWC, guys. I mean,
and the first tag team titles from them.
Yeah, we won our first tag team titles from them.
Okay. And that was was that Imagine at Imagine?
So, like, I love, like, both those guys, and I know he does too. Like, we would love. I know Duke has a lot on his plate right now. As soon as he's well and he's ready to come back, I definitely would love to run it back with them. That's, like, first thing on the list for sure.
Okay.
But besides those two guys, the Watch
is by far the biggest.
They're our biggest rivals.
The most hated. There's no love lost between you guys, and it's just.
We've had some bangers with the Watch. We had the first ever ladder match here at Imagine with the Watch, and it was the main event of the show. And That was personally my first ever main event match. And you want to talk about a different kind of nervous. That I was very. I even brought my headphones to the building that day, and whenever I was stretching and everything, getting ready, pumping myself up, I had those Bad Boys on with the music blared the whole way up, so I could not hear anybody. And I was just jamming out for sure. And
well, it's an honor. It's an honor to get to the main. It's a different thing when you're main event and shows. You know what I mean? And the promoter and the company knows that you guys can do this and you've done it and you can carry a company and that is, the tag team division right now. I mean, I was at the last match when you guys won the straps again. So how many times have you won straps, and have you won straps in other companies also?
Two.
We've held the Imagine tag team titles twice. We haven't capitalized on any other tag team gold yet. But
it's coming. Okay. I like that.
We for the better half of last year, we showed up a little bit of everywhere, and that might be a question down the line, and I don't want to go into that.
No, we can go right into that. Like, what other companies are you working with now? So besides Imagine,
currently on a consistent basis, it's Imagine, Victory Championship Wrestling,
okay,
and Rise Wrestling. Everything else is kind of like fill in here, this date. And that's, we did the stuff for IWC last year, and
we've been to a lot of places
Mega
in a short time.
ESW and all those places.
We've wrestled on Ricky Morton's YouTube show that he does.
Right, yeah.
We drove down to Tennessee and wrestled on the House of Morton.
That's huge, because a lot of guys around here that are independent won't travel 5 minutes from their house. So I mean, that's huge. So I commend you on that. Taking your traveling and getting out there is the key.
That ride, that whole day was crazy. We left at like 4 a.m. and it was what, 16 hours?
12.
Okay, 12.
It's a haul down to Tennessee, right?
Yeah, we drove the whole way down. We got there at 1 p.m. and the show didn't start till 7. We wrestled. So they had the show cut into 2 parts, and of course our match was in the second part. And so like it was like 8 o'clock, I want to say, was whenever the second part started. We wrestled a 7-minute match, jumped back in the car, went up the road to Waffle House, and then drove the whole way back home. Didn't get paid, nothing. We just went for the experience. And let me tell you, it was an experience. That's for sure.
But also, too, a lot of guys don't do what you guys just did.
Yeah, like it. I mean, out of all, like, it was awesome to sit there and talk a little bit. He obviously wasn't there the whole time, but it was cool to sit and talk with Ricky a little bit. Especially being a tag team wrestler his whole career, and got to pick his brain just a tad. But yeah, Brain was in a commercial for him while I was down there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, you're a big time celebrity. See. But I mean, is there other places that because there's other companies that work on Thursdays and Fridays and Sundays. Now, if you're wrestling and working 3 or 4 times a week, is that something that you guys want to do as a tag team to get more out there? I mean, you always come to Imagine. I understand that, but there's if there's more that you can do, and that's what you want to do, and get more. Wrestling once or twice or 3 times in Altoona is great, but if you can wrestle 3 or 4 times a week, that's more than a lot of people in this side of the state's doing. So is that something you guys would like to do?
I know we're consistent. Like right now, I think we have a pretty full 2023.
Okay.
Like remember we were given dates for all these promotions. Oh, we're working at War too.
Yeah, War in Ohio.
Okay.
Forgot about that one. So like I know back in December we took the dates for all these different companies, and we just had a list of all these places. So I know we're pretty full for most of the year,
and we're still getting like every other week, and that's no joke either. Like we're getting messages from promoters like, hey, are you guys available for this date? And then we got to bust out the old calendar and look at it and be like, oh, unfortunately we already are booked. Like we have
we do.
Yeah, like, or else we would most likely take it. We have so many dates now that last year I had him track all the dates. I was like, because they were just flying in. Like they would message us.
That's a good thing though. So
Yeah.
more likely you guys are working almost every weekend. If you're working twice, there's opportunities to be working 3 times a weekend, and it's pretty close that if you guys are getting more, that you could be doing this for, I mean, I don't know what you guys do outside the ring in your employment life, because I know you got to have money to go over places, because you just went down to Tennessee to get that experience, and unless you hit the Powerball, I mean, you got to have got to have some money, and you got to be responsible and stuff like that. But I mean, if your guys are getting 3 to 4 gigs a week, I mean, it just adds up and just gets you guys more experience. Now, have you guys ever thought about going further north, maybe Canada? You have any opportunities in that, and maybe going a little bit further south in Florida, because Florida was a hotbed at one time for wrestling. I mean, it was when I lived down there. I don't think it still is, but.
So we've been asked to ride along to Canada.
I don't think we could make it on that trip.
Yeah, that trip we couldn't do because we had another booking lined up.
Okay.
But I would not be opposed to a Canada trip. I know that it's like a 3-day event. I would definitely be down to do it, just to say. And I've always wanted to check out Canada. So like that would be a prime time to do it, like check out the sites and stuff while also doing wrestling on top of it. Awesome. And I know Chris Coleman just did it not that long ago. He rode up there with Bill.
Nice.
And he told us about the trip and how well it went. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it for sure.
I would like to do that. There's a guy how old, if like young guys like us, everybody should be trying to hop in the car and go do that. If there's guys like Chris Coleman who've been in this 15 years, they're going along and doing that. These young guys should go out there and try and do that as well.
But these young guys don't listen. They're not going to listen to what you just said. And you guys have experience, like you've been in the business longer than you have been as a team, and people think that they have one training practice and they're John Cena. And that's not the case. So we got to the companies that you guys, and you're putting stuff out there, and that's awesome. Now, have you guys sent any demo packaging to higher ups to, Impact, or just you know what I mean? I'm just throwing stuff out there, or NWA Power, as I said off in the green room about NWA Power, and maybe some MLW or something like that. That's not, if you guys got a chance to go down to Orlando, Florida, and train at the Performance Center, my God, you're packing your shit and you're going down. I mean, that's a no-brainer there. If you have that opportunity.
Stuff to we sent stuff to NWA more than once. We tried actually to get into the Crockett Cup.
Oh, that'd have been awesome.
Yeah,
really would have.
We tried really hard for that. And if we could get, we got reached out to from somebody in OVW.
Okay.
And they asked if we were available, and I said, yeah, we are. What are the dates you're looking for? And they never opened the message thing. So that's still there. But I messaged him, and he didn't get back to me until 7 months later. So
They dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. That's on them.
That is what it is. And if we could get a strong contact for NWA, I would not be opposed.
I know, like, we've sent stuff to MLW.
Nice.
We had a tryout for Impact.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did. Oh, that. Congratulations! I didn't know that. That's awesome.
We did the gut check thing at the Arnold Classic.
The Arnold Classic last year.
You're on the radar. You're on their radar, and that's good.
And also, this is something else not a lot of people know.
Oh,
but
the news breaking right now.
The night that Kenny Omega returned to AEW after his injury in Charleston, West Virginia last year, we were actually at that show too.
Oh.
We did get an email to go down. Unfortunately, we did not get on because COVID results didn't come back in time. We had everything else lined up. We were backstage, and we sat there and waited, and neither one of our results came back. And then we were on our way home.
But you know what? Guys? When they see stuff's not going the way they probably see you, and they want to look and see how you react and handle yourselves, and being the consummate professionals that you are, you might be bummed out internally, but you're not showing that. So that is a good thing. They're like, well, those guys, what didn't work out for them, and they handled themselves like pros. Maybe COVID sucks. I mean, it destroyed a lot of businesses, and it was hard to do. But also too, you're on their radar. I did not know that you guys did that, and that's great. And just you just keep plugging, and it seems like you guys are doing that. And yeah, I believe that's how. I've heard some stories about people not acting professional and being bummed out because they didn't get on the show and stuff. They don't forget that stuff. They don't ever forget.
It was definitely a letdown, but now with it being several months after, like we've both talked about, and it was a really good learning experience. We know like now what to do and stuff like that, given the opportunity ever presents itself again. But it was cool. Like everyone there, whenever all the guys were walking in, they all like made it a point to say hello whenever they walked past and stuff like that. And it was really cool. FTR, we saw them and they both said hello, and that was
see, cool. That is something that you won't forget, that you can gain knowledge to go further. There's FTR, one of the greatest tag teams of recent times, saying hello to you guys.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's huge. So, I mean, that's what I mean about being respectful, and you guys are respectful, and you're on the radar. Because there's no tag team doing what you guys do and coming out through the curtain as you guys do. I mean, and one of the questions I wanted to ask you this is crazy. What in the hell with the dinosaur when you guys come out and do that? You have like a mascot. Who come up with that idea? Because it's a cool thing for the kids, and it's just cool because people get into it. Now, who come up with that?
So I remember when we first started team, and I know we were putting out a lot of little promo packages of us just doing random stuff, messing around and just being ourselves, basically. I know the one time Jake brought the idea to me, and we were gonna use the dinosaur, and we did the video, and it's still up. It's on our YouTube channel, where he was introduced, and he was trying to attack us and everything. And then I had the idea of, because at the end of the video, he came up and he hugs us and everything, and
we danced.
Yeah, you just like to have a good time, and you like to dance. But well, now we're friends with the dinosaur. We should bring him out with us.
And nobody else was really doing stuff like that.
No, I mean, who thought?
So
we were at the time, we had and we do like Nickelodeon themed gear, and all of our teeth are like a Nickelodeon themed anyway. Mm-hmm. So we thought of it as like, if we bring the dinosaur out, we're already the underdogs. And it kind of just gave us a little bit more of a Nickelodeon element, I want to say, because we looked like the Rugrats then. If we had our own Reptar that came out to the ring with us.
Okay. Well, that was a question that I wanted to ask because I seen the dinosaur numerous times come out with you, and I didn't know the origin of the story, but now we do. So yeah, I mean, if it works, now do you take it everywhere you guys go,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
or
Rides with us
okay,
everywhere.
he has his own
okay,
gimmick.
Yeah.
He's a star.
And we've been
okay?
booked because of him.
We've been booked solely on the dinosaur.
Yeah, on just the dinosaur.
Oh wow, yeah,
he-
gimmicks work.
Yeah.
He got booked, and we just rode along. in
Yeah,
the
we
car
just
with him.
tagged along with him.
He drove.
Oh, well, okay.
Video
Now,
of him
so so speaking of all your fans and stuff, like you have great interactions with your fans. Now, a fan actually wrote me and actually wrote this question down. Craig from Patton, Pennsylvania.
I know what this is gonna be.
Craig wants to know, do you ever see yourself going to the dark side and the Rad Boys come out in darkness and they're not cheerful and they're not tagging high fives with the fans? Do you ever see yourself going down that heelish road? That's what he wanted to know, and I told him I'd ask the question.
I feel like we're too nice. Like, I personally, I'm not a mean person.
I can be if I'm hungry.
There's no way that I could ever see us being heels. I'm not.
There you go, Craig. There you go, Craig.
I think Rad Boyz are probably baby face for life.
Okay. He wanted to, I told him I'd ask. He sent it to me privately and he's like, "Hey Bubba, can you?" I was like, "I'll ask him." I can't see you guys being heels, but some circumstances make it, some things do happen. You know what I mean? You don't get the fair shake, you bust your ass, you're not getting a fair shake, and you're getting tired of having other teams maybe go over you and your guys are doing what you're doing. That I mean, hopefully that never happens. You know what I mean? And there, maybe, I just wanted to ask the question, and that's what I was doing. And you already knew the question anyway. So if you guys knew some Powerball numbers, we're all in business. So yeah. Now you don't have. This is a question I told you in the green room. You do not have to answer. You don't have to answer this question. What are your feelings about the political bullshit that goes on in independent wrestling? You don't have to answer this, and if anybody's listening and they answer this question and do whatever, don't give them. You want to give heat? You come down my way. You come down to 374 Route 119. I'll be more than happy to talk to you. But I'm just asking a question. That's all.
I'll give an input on this.
Okay.
With the local bullshit.
Better beep that.
No, you're good. You can swear on my show. You're good.
I think that there's things that are done right and there's things that are done wrong.
Okay.
I feel that if everybody would do things the right way, there wouldn't be any issues. There wouldn't be any hard feelings, and it would be friendly competition. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I'm actually glad there's competition, because if there's not competition, then what makes you better?
Okay. I like that answer. That's a good answer.
I don't personally think that there needs to be a cutthroat mentality towards it. I think at the end of the day, we're grown men fake fighting in our underwear. It is what it is.
That's a great answer. That's a greght answer. I wanted to ask you that because I mean when I got started, there was only 3 federations. There was only 3, and 2 of them were in Pittsburgh. And the APWF was up in Indiana and Jefferson County and stuff. There was only 3, and now there's like 25. And my next question, because this is something that I dream of. And I've said it numerously, and I even said it when I lived in Florida, of companies putting their egos to the side. And they used to do it with, Death Fest. Lord Zoltan used to do that, where everybody would come together, from different companies, and they don't do that anymore. Where everybody would come together and put on a great super show, for half the state or the whole state of Pennsylvania, and showcase the best talent of every company, and everybody gets a piece of the pie. Is that something that that you guys hope one day could happen?
It'll
I
never
mean, I
happen.
hope so.
Yeah,
It'll never. I know.
Because it would be cool. It would be something to see, and I would love to see how many people showed up to watch that.
I feel like it's would I like to see it? Yes, but a part of me is also, I feel like it's a double-edged sword where you want to see it, but at the same time you don't, because no matter how it goes, one company is always going to look better than another, or this company doesn't look as good as these three other companies on this show, so somebody's feelings are going to get hurt, or more than one person's feelings are going to get hurt. So I feel like it would probably just it's never going to happen, but if the opportunity was there, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't think it would, due to the fact that everybody has an ego.
I was just saying, too many egos.
Yeah, there's too many egos, and no one's going to sacrifice. I mean, me being the outsider now, I mean, I would sacrifice stuff for the greater good, but that's just me. And if I had $100,000, I would be back into business. But I'm not doing that. I'd rather buy comic books right now. But I just wanted to ask you guys that, because it's a dream of mine that everybody gets along and respect and whatever. But also too, there is some federations that I wouldn't give a plug nickel to that actually suck. So and that's the shit that we have to deal with. So, and then they don't spend the time, because another question is, as students of the game, and you guys are respectful, are there workers that you're helping out to get better now? Is there people that you're helping out to get better, to get where you guys are, and giving them a helping hand?
Absolutely. There's plenty of guys, like, and it's crazy to think about too, because like we're still those guys, like we're getting knowledge passed down to us, but it's a really, really cool feeling that guys want to hear advice from us. And I don't know, like I never thought I would be in, or either one of us would be in the position where guys come up and say, Rad Boyz, like, can I get your opinion on this? Or what do you guys think I should do with this promoter? Or do you think I should contact this promoter? And I mean, these are all questions that we used to ask the guys that we talked about earlier.
Now we get
and now it's just a circle. Now we're doing it for them, and it's really cool. Like there's a few that I can think of off the top of my head that I personally think that, given the one opportunity, they could really, really do something. But that right now they're in that gray phase where, and we were there too, where a promoter just doesn't want to take that chance on them yet. I think they will at some point and see like, oh, okay, this guy is like legit, or this guy is like what I've been looking for, but they just haven't gotten to that level yet, just because no one is really pulling the trigger on them just yet.
I don't think there's enough. I feel like there's so many guys out there that ask for advice, but nobody's willing. When you give them the advice, they take the nod.
Mm-hmm. There's been plenty of that.
And I just wish I ask for the advice. Don't let me waste my breath.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna follow the, like, at least try once or twice with this advice, not okay, and then just forget what I said.
And I know, like in this business too, like it can get really cutthroat. because we've seen it and we've been on the receiving end of it, and at some places. And like the guys that we give knowledge to, I just hope know, like, we're not here just trying to get you to a certain point and then we still stay over, like, because that's not what we're about. Like, we want to see everybody that we respect and we see who we're giving advice to really go to the next level, because why else are we giving you the advice? I personally think, like,
yeah, it's a different time. So when I started, it was different than it is now, and you have to get with the times, which is harder, I'm sure. And I'm old school, but you have to learn to adapt to situations. And nowadays, there's so many, as we talked off camera, there were so many shows around the area. You have to pick and choose, and sometimes it's hard to pick and choose. If I want to see you guys here and somebody over here I want to see, I can't see everybody. And independent wrestling now, it's not the $10 tickets at the door and 12 in advance anymore. They're not that way. It's not that way. And I don't know how people still get successful in doing stuff. It's hard work and doing stuff, and you promote yourself daily being a wrestler. You know, Braden, going to Altoona, walking down the street and people are coming up and asking you, hey, when are you wrestling next? Or asking, hey, are you still wrestling? I'm sure you get it too, Jake. I mean, I get it. And I and God bless Imagine Wrestling for putting that little tiny bow on my career. And it was a Hollywood movie. I still get asked. I can't lace my boots up, but I still get asked. So I'm sure you guys are getting asked all the time. Hey, when's the next show? So you're always self-promoting and self-evolving, but people got to realize sometimes you have to swim with the fishes of catastrophe, or whatever the hell it was. What's the fishes?
Yeah.
I don't even know, but you got to swim with the current. You got to swim with the current, not against the current.
right.
So, but also too, you guys go to these Dr. Tom seminars, and I've been to one of Dr. Tom's seminars where I was, I was nervous as shit and crossing my leg, and he was bitching me out. And that's the first time I ever did a leapfrog, in Massachusetts. So you've been to these seminars with Dr. Tom and Shane Douglas and Ricky Morton, and you guys go to all these seminars, and some people won't even go to any of these seminars, and they are professional wrestlers. So I don't know how these guys they're never getting any better. You guys are going to this stuff, learning to and overcoming and doing what you need to do. What can you tell these people that are listening? You guys are doing it. You guys are achieving stuff. Why can't they just do what they need to do? Because it doesn't happen overnight.
Are we talking young guys in the business?
We're talking anybody, even the old guys that think they're all that in a bag of chips that can't even do a wrist lock from a wrist lock.
I think if you're a wrestler and if you want consistent work, or if you want to get signed, it's easier than ever right now it takes 5 minutes to get on the phone and send your stuff if you pick out, 10 minutes a day and you find 5 promotions and you send a match, a promo pick, and a message of who you are, and you just want an opportunity to 5 places, every day, I mean, you're bound to get something. You're bound to get a response, at least hey, I'll look into this. Or at least they look at the stuff. They might watch the match. They might not get back to you. They know who you are then. And then when they start to see you pop up, they might contact you then. And I think you got to get, sorry to cut you off, but if you got to get in the car and you got to drive, you got to help out places. If you ride along with somebody, help tear down the ring or help set it up, just that way they, this is if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of business where, you help somebody out tearing down the ring when you're just starting. When you are able to wrestle, it's called, they might put you on the show then.
It's called paying your dues.
Right.
And that's something that we were taught, and I still think that needs to be taught.
Not enough guys do it.
No. First off,
you're absolutely right. Absolutely.
Spend the money on yourself and get properly trained.
Wait. Spend the money on yourself, get trained, get professional gear, and buy a gym membership. If you're gonna be a professional wrestler, look like a wrestler.
And if you have the opportunities where even if it's a few hours away, if you have the opportunities to go listen to a Dr. Tom or any of these guys, go, because you're not shortchanging yourself by going there. I mean, we've been down to Dr. Tom's school, and we spent a couple days with Dr. Tom, and he's great. Like, he said, different layers of ice cream. Different flavors of ice cream. And, you got to find the flavor that works best for you. He'll teach you his flavor, but then you take his flavor and then make it your flavor. And, I mean, the man is just, in my opinion, and I know that we've talked about this here countless times, if you're going to learn how to train and you can afford him, he's the best wrestling trainer on the planet. Without
it. I agree. I agree. But also too, there you guys are traveling down there, going to his seminars, going to his training school, and you got guys here that won't even go if he's around the area to a seminar because they won't show up. We
won't hang a flyer for a place.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they're on,
and then they wonder. I saw that picture floating around of guys wondering why nobody will reach out to them to get booked. Well, first off, we were just talking about this today. Some guys think that the promoter is going to pick up the phone and call them. Like, they don't even know who you are. So you have to look at it as, these guys don't even know who I am. So I gotta let them know who I am. And I don't know how many. I mean, I probably still have a lot of them saved on my phone in my messenger. I mean, there are messages, probably close to, like, I don't know, 70 some messages in here of just companies that we've messaged throughout the years that we've been teaming, of just sending this promoter, sending this promoter, sending this promoter, sending this promoter, like, and it, like, hey, here's some promo pics, here's a match, like, we were here, like, if you're interested, please shoot us a message back, like, and it works. I mean, we're proof of that. Like, just put in the work and, bust your rear and treat this like how it should be treated. Like, everyone always says, like, this business takes more than it gives. And
sometimes it does. Sometimes it does.
But sometimes, there's that little bit where it gives, and that's just part of putting into it.
Sometimes when it gives, though, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you guys got now. I mean, like I said, social media. I mean, I was putting up flyers on telephone poles, getting charged a penalty of $25 a telephone pole back in the late '90s, and I'd give an 8x10 and some 3 matches on VCR tape to Jim Cornette trying to get it. I mean, I just gave him an 8x, at the bar. I'm like, here you go, Jim, in Philadelphia. I was like, hey, I'm taking opportunities. It didn't transpire, but you have to take opportunities when they come, and that's just how it is.
We've always been told, what's the worst case scenario? They say no, or they
just no all the time,
or they say not right now, and not right now never doesn't always mean no.
That's always, anytime I feel like in the wrestling business, no means not right now.
And that's happened to us countless times.
And if you're persistent, eventually there's a yes.
Mm-hmm. And you got to stay hungry. Like, you don't obviously.
How do you guys stay hungry to keep yourself motivated to give you the positive mindset in this crazy world of independent wrestling, where you are focused and driven, but sometimes the road is a little slippery and there's a little bit of snow on it? How do you keep motivated?
Don't look back.
And stay motivated. Like, I know, like, for us, like, whenever promoters have told us no, we're like, well, we're going to show these guys, like, who we are, and we're going to show them that we're one of the best tag teams coming up right now. And
I believe that.
And we're going to show them that if they bring us on their show, it's a benefit for them as well, a benefit for us. And I think that has happened for us with certain companies. Like, we never thought in a million years back whenever Victor Benjamin and Lady Frost were running Wrestle Pit, we showed up just on a whim. We just helped set up the ring. And one of the guys was there that we knew, and he's like, "Do you guys have your gear on you?" And we were like, "Of course." And he's like, "Well, let me go talk to Victor." So he went and talked to Victor, and Victor came up, and he's like, "You guys are in the scramble match tonight." And we were like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then we got put in the scramble match, and then I think it was like a month or two after, he shot us another message, "Hey, you guys available for this date?" And then we got to go wrestle that, and Cheeseburger was in that match.
I know, like, a lot of guys, they get upset and they think about, like, they get frustrated and they're like, well, maybe this isn't for me, or maybe, and I know, like, because we've been there, we've had the conversation. I think for a lot of the times you just gotta, if you want to move forward, I think about it as, if I'm walking forwards and I'm going this way, if I look back to think about this, my view is obstructed, so I can't see what's in front of me then. So you can't look back and you can't think about everything that happened. You just got to keep moving forward and keep thinking about the next thing and the next thing, and what, really what you want out of the future. What's at the end for you.
And for God's sake, be patient. Like, that was something that was really hard for, I know, me personally, because whenever we first started, I really thought we were good. And I was like, why aren't these people messaging us? Like, why aren't we getting the same opportunities as X and B? And, like, why aren't we getting the opportunities that these guys are getting over here? Like, we're just as good as they are. And now, like, going back and watching, we weren't as good as what I thought. But now, like, I truly do feel like we're pretty good. And I do feel like we've built some clout behind our name. And
but it's that positive mindset that you guys are portraying here on the show, that you're not portraying, it's just how you guys are, that people can see. So the realism of being you and being real, that sometimes is an added bonus. Like, I wasn't the greatest wrestler in the world, but I think it's my persona and my personality and my passion that got me to where, I try to be respected. And you might not get respected in your workplace, in life, but when I go to a wrestling show, say I go to Imagine Wrestling show, the respect is overwhelming from the boys, that nobody can take that away from you guys or me or anybody that's ever been in the business. Like, it's something, it's like a hidden thing. Your boss could treat you like shit, but if you go to a wrestling show and you wrestled and you walk in and you guys shake my hand and hug me. You do not get that anywhere besides that. It's a brotherhood that maybe not everybody agrees on stuff, but in the long run, and it's that stuff, you can't even buy that. Like, some of that stuff is the hidden stuff that is great, and the experiences that you guys are having right now is something that you can carry on. And you guys are only in the third chapter of a 41 chapter book. You guys, to me, you guys are, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to kiss anybody's ass. I'm just being for real, just because you guys are very respectful and you guys put on great shows, and you guys, you know how to work, and you've been trained properly, and you still want to train. And that's what everybody that's independent around here need to take from this podcast, and need to take from you guys, is the positive stuff that you guys do. You just told me, Bub, we don't even want to be heels. We're too nice. So, you know what I mean? That's because you're nice. That is the real you. And that, you can't ever change that. So that was my little rant on a soapbox. But, I mean, just from hearing you guys, hearing the passion that you guys are portraying to me over here, it's electric. And I appreciate that, because you guys are the future of this business in this area. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's the truth. It's the truth. And I know, because I spent 20 some years seeing up and comers and this and that. You guys, the tag team future of wrestling in this area, the tag team future is you guys. And I appreciate you guys come on my show but and I'm a big supporter. You guys versus Wild Wild West at a time would have been a classic encounter. Classic.
That was definitely on the list of matches.
I know it was. And those guys were great too. And every couple years there's a team that comes through. But you guys having this positive mindset. It's just, and I wish a lot of guys had your guys' mindset, because you guys are going places and doing stuff while they're sitting at home twiddling their thumbs and playing fucking backgammon and wishing, oh, well, shit, the Rad Boyz are here. Boy, if we would have went to the gym and trained a little bit or went to a Dr. Tom seminar, we'd be a little better. But no, they want to sit home and watch, Ted Lasso and I don't know, eat crumpets. I don't know. I just said Ted Lasso. I don't know. It's a good show. I don't know.
I want to mention real quick. I know Jake said that we feel that we're pretty good. And I know you mentioned passion. I know sometimes come into some situations where people might have felt, if there's guys that are watching this and you've come to a point with us where you felt like you had a disagreement or an experience where we were pissed or anything, it was just because of the passion that we have for this and the fact that we just want things to be right. And everything we do, we want it to be good. We just have a mindset of we want everything to make sense and we want everything to be good and we want to put on the best show that we possibly can. So, and I know that sometimes people take that to heart if we tell them, like, no, your idea sucks.
People are soft. People are soft nowadays. You're just giving your opinion and you're entitled to your opinion because we live where we live. And sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes people told me I suck. I have to, suck it up. And, that's just how it is. And honesty is the best policy. If you're not being honest with people, they're just going to be like, look, you're being honest. And sometimes people need to hear that stuff.
Right.
So, that's just how it goes.
We both talk about this a lot. It doesn't matter whether we're match 1 of the night, match 4, 2, 7, whatever. Every time we go out there, our main goal in both of our minds is to give the people and the fans their money's worth out of every performance that we go out there and do. And for ourselves, treat every match like it's a main event match. And
there ain't nothing wrong with that, Jay. There ain't nothing wrong with that at all, brother. That's if people had your two mentality, maybe the independent wrestling scene in the world around here would be a little better. Sorry, that's why I could podcast, because nobody can shut me down. So you know how it goes. But let's go on to some lighter notes before we because I know you guys got stuff to do and I appreciate your guys' time. Now, what are some of your hobbies that you guys do outside the wrestling ring that you can enjoy to get your downtime a little bit? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't do it as much as I used to, but I still do like play video games. It's a nice stress reliever. This is going to come to probably a surprise to a lot of people, but I do like firearms.
That's okay. So do I.
I recently picked my first one up, and I love it. And I would like to get more down the line. But other than that, I'm a big fan of editing stuff. Like, I like making graphics and stuff like that. Like,
well, God bless you.
It keeps my mind rolling.
So
like,
okay,
I have a hard time with my mind racing sometimes, like where it just doesn't want to stop. And sometimes, like, whenever I just sit down and I will make a T-shirt or just something that'll probably never see the light of day.
But so you make your own. You make your own stuff. So you're the creative forces behind the Rad Boyz merchandise.
All our merchandise, like T-shirt wise and stuff, I've created for us.
Every sticker, every T-shirt,
Every sticker and stuff like that, I have made on my.
Do you do it for any other? Do you do any for the boys? The boys contact you and say, "Hey, Jake, I'll pay you if you do this and that."
I've a few have reached out, and I have for a couple guys. I'm working on one right now for someone. Now I don't have like this. I've seen from some other guys in the business. Some guys are just fantastic at it. Pollock is amazing. IWC. Jack, the stuff he does, it like me. Good dude. I'm a big fan of his. But yeah, I like to mess around with just stuff like that. Like, doesn't always come out good, but it's good enough for me. So I'm like,
right on. Right on. Braden, what about you, brother?
So if I'm not wrestling, I'm watching wrestling. But when I I'm eating. I'll get to that. When I turn it off, I live in the gym, basically.
Okay. Good place to be.
We'll go to the gym together. I work out, and sometimes probably too much to a point where he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm done." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I got like 30 minutes cardio left. I'm just starting on this." So like sometimes maybe I work out too much, but I just love it. There's nothing like it. Same thing, kind of like wrestling. There's like there's nothing like that to me. So that's just another thing. Then on top of that, I love to cook.
Okay.
I actually have 7 certifications from culinary school. I enjoy just looking at different varieties of food and like messing around with it. I meal prep. I like to just try to make different things and see, okay, well, what if I change this, and then I make my own recipe here. What if I make my own sauce, or I just like to try and I
never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
I'd have never would have guessed that. I hate cooking, but I'd have never guessed that. I mean, I would have guessed the working out stuff because, you know what I mean? You're in shape and you have to keep that, and you like to do it. God bless you. And, keep doing what you're doing and stuff like that. So I'd never would have guessed the cooking stuff.
One doesn't lend so well with the other. And,
that's okay.
Well,
yeah. Yeah. So anyway, guys, it's WrestleMania weekend. Okay. I want you guys to give me your favorite WrestleMania match of all time. One match that comes to your head. What would it be?
Taker and Shawn, WrestleMania 25.
That was quick.
Mine, pretty much what we just talked about last night. Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, TLC 2.
Okay. That was quick. I like that. Because we're going to get into some questions. It's going to be the top of your head. The number one all-time singles wrestler that you truly love, which I probably would have known what Braden's going to pick, but since he
I know what I'm probably going to pick.
Wait, are we talking?
The number one singles wrestler of all time, not tag teams. If you're going to watch him or her or whatever, the number one wrestler of all time in your book right now. Are
we talking best wrestler or
best wrestler? Like not just you're going to buy their merchandise. You're a big fan. You got the foam finger. You got the T-shirts. You're ride till you die with this person.
So total package. Okay, all right. You go first.
You go first.
Okay.
I got like top 3. It's hard for me to pick between the three.
Well, that'll be the next question
Okay.
on something else.
He's between two.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know
stuck between
You
two.
got one. This is your lifeline. You got the one call to make. Who you calling? Who you calling to save your life right now? The number one wrestler.
I'm going Taker.
I was going to say you were going to say that because you said, we opened the show, you know what I mean? And that doesn't ever go away. Okay. Jake?
Dax, if he ever gets to see this, forgive me, but it's going to be HBK, Shawn Michaels.
Well,
if Dax ever sees this, that means I'm doing something good in my life, and God bless you.
I know he's a Brett guy.
I know he is. Okay. Now this other question, you can think about it because you're going to have 4 opportunities. 4, since you guys, to me, are one of the top tag teams on the East Coast going today. I want your Mount Rushmore of tag teams. So it'll be 4 teams on the mountaintop. What teams will it be?
So I already have my 4.
Okay, that's quick. I like that.
Obviously, my all-time favorite tag team, being a newer guy in wrestling and stuff. FTR, 100%.
Okay.
My number 2. Now this isn't in like
it doesn't in any order. They're just on your mountaintop in your backyard. You got a big mountain, and you're putting your teams on. They don't have to be ranking. You're just putting them on the mountaintop.
FTR is definitely top. They'd be the top 2 heads. I'm gonna have to go with Rock and Roll Express, obviously. I want to say the Briscoe brothers.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say this one's a little bit harder for me because there's 3 teams that I have in my head right now that are like all neck and neck. But if I had to just pick one out of the 3, I'm gonna say Midnight Express for sure.
Okay, that's a good Mount Rushmore.
Though.
Get the hell out of here.
What? They were
Killer
cool.
bees.
They were cool.
Okay, Braden, who's your Mount Rushmore?
So, I'm gonna go with. Okay, so favorite of all time, I'm gonna say it's got the Hardy Boys.
Okay,
is up there. Modern day, I'm gonna say FTR. So we'll go with FTR, the Hardy Boys, the Rock and Roll Express, and Midnight Express. Because I think no Rock and Roll and with no Midnight, there wouldn't be an Edge of Christian. There wouldn't be a Hardy's. There definitely would be no FTR. And that's not even just Rock and Roll and Midnight. That's just every tag team from that era. Sorry. There wouldn't be.
No, you're both Mount Rushmores of tag team wrestling. It's just your opinion, and everybody you said is great. And on the rocks behind your house, I mean, they're just chiseled on there. So yeah, I mean that's you can't go wrong with anybody that you said, either one of you guys, due to the fact that you guys are, the tag team of the tag teams. Another question. I got 2 more. Where do you see the Rad Boyz in this business 5 years from now?
In wheelchairs? That's a tough one.
Well, I try to give tough questions. I try to be a journalism here sometimes. Dan Rather, indie wrestling, professional wrestling. I try. It's hard.
Part of me wants to say we would have a tag belt for each one of those next 5 years on our arms and then one around the waist. But realistically,
I'm going to give my answer before you do.
Go ahead.
I don't know exactly where I see us in 5 years. But my answer is going to be a little different than what people would probably expect. Wherever the road takes us, I'll be happy with. So I don't want to give an answer because I'm just sure. I don't know.
You're a politician. You're a
Yeah.
good politician, man.
I think okay. So I'll just say
Okay.
in 5 years, wherever we are, I'll be happy with. And I don't want to make a prediction, and I don't want to say I'll be happy with this because whatever it is, I think we earned that, and I'll be happy with it because we earned where we were. Whether it's at a low level, it's at a high level, or we're doing something completely different. Wherever it is in 5 years, we earned that, and I'll be okay with it.
Okay. Fair
We'll
enough.
be in a happy place. That's my answer.
I'm gonna agree with that.
Okay. Okay.
That was really well put.
That was well put. Yes, and he thought. I'm telling you, you remind me of a politician. So when I see another career in your horizon, Brayden.
I hope not.
Now this might be a little harder. This is the last question of this great interview. You guys, I appreciate you guys taking out some time in your day. You guys are busy to come on the Triple B Experience. One word to describe the Rad Boyz.
I think we should take a huddle on this one. Genuine.
I like that.
Genuine. I think if you get to meet the Rad Boyz at a merch table or backstage, you get to meet the Rad Boyz. How they are pretty much 24/7. I don't think we're not a parody act. We're not pretending to be somebody else.
I can be a little nuts sometimes.
Yeah,
just throwing that out there.
That's okay.
I think we are just two genuine guys, and the experience that you get, whether you're sitting ringside, you're taking a picture with us, or we're shaking your hand in the back, you get the same Rad Boyz every time.
And to play off of what he just said, the main thing I know that we both want people to take away from us is if the Rad Boyz were on the show and you paid X amount to get a ticket to come in and watch it, we both hope that we as a team and us together, can provide something that makes everyone feel like buying that ticket was well worth it.
I agree.
Great. That was a great answer. Great.
The word genuine.
Genuine. But I already knew that. But that's a good. I'm telling you, that's great stuff. Okay, so I mean, I appreciate you guys coming on. So where could people find you to get on your social media and stuff and your upcoming shows? Where are you guys going to be? Go ahead. This is your time to plug yourself and put yourself out there, which you guys already have all the whole hour and 34 minutes. God bless you guys for hanging in there.
So Facebook, we're on there as the Rad Boyz, and then just Braden Elliott and Jake Wiley. Instagram, we are, I think, rad.boys, all lowercase, and then there's our individual Rex, the dinosaur. He has his own Facebook. It's Rad Rex. He has his own Instagram. And then Twitter, I think it's Rad Boyz 2.
Yeah.
Because apparently somebody took Rad Boyz 1.
How does that work?
I don't know, but whenever we find them, they're getting tickets to the Double Dare.
Yeah. who's number one.
Yeah.
And then just Braden, Elliot, and Jake. I think we're on TikTok too. So
Yeah, Rex is on there dancing to AC/DC.
Oh, that's cool. You can't go wrong with AC/DC. So, any upcoming shows that you guys got going on here, putting out?
So-
You guys,
I got them right here, actually.
okay.
So the 15th we'll be back here in Altoona. I'd imagine. The day right after, we're going to be down in McMecken, West Virginia for VCW. And then we got Imagine the following month on the 6th. And then after that, we're waiting on a few calls. That's for sure. There's a few dates in here I don't know if I can disclose yet, but
Gotcha.
there's
I
stuff on.
understand.
And then if you can see us for free every Wednesday.
I'll do it like this so you can just kind of see. See all those white lines?
Yeah, I got great vision. I seen it all, Jake.
Yeah.
I'm
You
blind
can
as a bat.
You can see us for free every Wednesday night if you tune into Imagine Wrestling on YouTube. And then all of, like the other dates there. And then if you keep up with our social medias, you'll see everywhere that we're wrestling. We'll share the graphic. We'll share the flyer. If we're going to be there, you'll see it shared on the Rad Boyz page.
I think too, we've talked about down the road here too, trying to get a little bit back on par with our social medias and stuff, and try to get some more little random content out there. Like
It's hard, guys. Believe me. Coming from me. I mean, I do it all the time. It's hard. It's tough. You got to keep plugging away. And I mean, you guys are plugging away, getting your dates and getting your bookings and getting your merchandise and your dinosaur fed and out there, and and stuff like that. But I do appreciate you guys taking the time. You guys are busy. It's Friday night, you know what I mean? And I appreciate you guys coming on, WrestleMania weekend, coming on and doing this interview. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot of stuff about you guys that I didn't know. And I just want to say once again, I love your passion for the business. Keep the fire flaming. Don't ever let it go, because you guys can keep doing what you're doing, and your guys are going to go far. I believe that. And the genuine word that you guys described is what you guys are. And I truly appreciate you guys coming on the show. And I wanted to do this for a long time, and I'm just glad that you guys could come on, and hopefully I can see you guys out and about kicking ass and taking names and defending your Imagine tag team titles here soon. So, but
thank you.
Yeah, we loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, thank you. So everybody, thank you. This is Braden Elliott and Jake Wiley, the Rad Boyz. So if you have a chance to see him in your town, get a ticket, because you will be entertained. Thank you guys for coming on the show. Thanks, everybody. And welcome to the Triple B Experience. Good night, everybody.